How does a handsome law student turn into one of the most feared serial killers in American history? Why did so many people trust him, only to vanish without a trace? And how did he fool not just his victims, but judges, journalists, even the entire nation? This is the chilling story of Ted Bundy, the charismatic killer who smiled in courtrooms and slaughtered in secret. A man who wore a mask of charm, hiding the darkest evil imaginable. The making of a monster born Theodore Robert Bundy in 1946, his early life was built on lies. Raised to believe his grandparents were his parents and his mother was his sister, Ted's origins were already tangled in secrecy. He grew into a bright and confident young man, clean-cut, intelligent, studying psychology and later law. He even volunteered at a suicide prevention hotline. Who would suspect such a man of being a monster? But deep inside, something was boiling. Bundy later admitted that his obsession with violent pornography and feelings of rejection triggered uncontrollable urges. And those urges would soon manifest into something horrific. The killing begins in 1974. Young women started disappearing from college campuses across Washington and Oregon. Similar pattern. Long brown hair parted in the middle. Lured by a man with a sling or crutches, asking for help. That man was Bundy. He would hit them over the head, kidnap, rape, and murder them, often returning to the bodies days later. Necrophilia. Dismemberment. It was sadistic, calculated, and deeply disturbing. By the time police realized they were chasing a serial killer, Bundy had already killed dozens. But he wasn't finished. Cross-country horror Bundy moved to Utah and continued his spree. Then to Colorado. Everywhere he went, women vanished. He was finally arrested in August 1975 during a traffic stop, and police found burglary tools in his car. His face matched a composite sketch from an earlier abduction. He was linked to multiple disappearances, but still, there wasn't enough physical evidence. But Ted made a mistake. He attacked Carol DeRanch, who survived, and testified. In 1976, he was convicted of kidnapping. But while awaiting trial for murder in Colorado, he escaped. The escape artist not once, but twice, Bundy escaped from custody. The second time, he starved himself to slip through a hole in the ceiling of his jail cell. He stole a car and vanished. By the time police knew he was missing, he was already across the country, in Florida. Then came one of the most horrific attacks in U.S. history. Chi Omega Massacre. On January 15, 1978, Ted Bundy broke into the Chi Omega sorority house at Florida State University. Within minutes, he bludgeoned and strangled 4 women, killing Lisa Levy and Margaret Bowman. He bit Lisa so hard, his dental impression later became key evidence. Just weeks later, he abducted and killed 12-year-old Kimberly Leach, his youngest known victim. It was a trail of destruction. Brutal. Bloody. Merciless. But finally, he slipped up. Caught and unmasked in February 1978, Bundy was pulled over in Pensacola, Florida. He tried to fight the charges, representing himself in court, charming the media, smirking during testimony, and cross-examining witnesses in a bizarre display of narcissism. But the evidence was overwhelming: eyewitnesses, physical evidence, and that bite mark. In 1979, he was convicted of the Chi Omega murders. The judge called his crimes extremely wicked, shockingly evil, and vile, words that have echoed ever since. He was sentenced to death. The execution and aftermath. For 10 years, Bundy sat on death row, manipulating the system, confessing only when he realized his execution was truly imminent. He eventually admitted to 30 murders, though many believe the real number could be 50 or more. On January 24, 1989, he was executed in the electric chair at Florida State Prison. Crowds outside cheered. They held signs, "Burn Bundy burn." A monster had been destroyed. But the questions remained. Why Bundy still haunts us. Ted Bundy wasn't just a killer. He was a mirror to society's blind spots, how we judge character by appearance, how charm can deceive, and how evil often wears a human face. He taught the world that serial killers don't always lurk in shadows. Sometimes, they smile at you. Bundy's case revolutionized criminal profiling, inspired books, films, and documentaries, and became the prototype of the charming sociopath. Ted Bundy didn't just fool America, he forced it to confront the fact that true evil might not look like a monster, but like the boy next door. If this story shook you, hit like, subscribe, and turn on the bell icon for more real crime cases on CrimeEcho that reveal the darkest truths behind seemingly ordinary lives. Right finger, let us know in the comments, do you think Ted Bundy's execution brought real justice? Or were there still too many unanswered questions?